There's a loneliness nobody talks about. Not the loneliness of being alone, the loneliness of being surrounded by people you've outgrown. You're in the same room, having the same conversations, pretending nothing changed. But everything changed. You changed. And they didn't. Or maybe they changed in different directions. And now there's distance, not physical distance, emotional distance, the kind where you smile, you nod, you're present, but you're not really there because the person they knew doesn't exist anymore. And the person you've become, they don't recognize. You didn't mean to outgrow them. You didn't want to leave anyone behind. But growth isn't a group activity. And sometimes you grow past people you thought would walk with you forever, childhood friends who still live in the past, family who wants you to stay the version they're comfortable with, partners who loved who you were but can't love who you're becoming, and you're left in this impossible space, too changed to go back, too connected to fully leave. And if you feel lonely in rooms full of people, if conversations feel empty even when they're talking, if you're mourning relationships that haven't ended but have already died, this will explain why. Because outgrowing people isn't cruel, it's human, but it hurts like hell anyway. Outgrowing people doesn't happen suddenly. It's gradual, quiet, almost invisible, until one day you're sitting with someone you've known for years, and you realize you have nothing to say, not because you're angry, not because they hurt you, but because you're living in different worlds now. They're talking about things that used to matter to you, drama that feels trivial now, gossip you no longer have energy for, complaints about problems you've already solved, and you're nodding, smiling, present, but inside, silence. Because the things that matter to you now, they wouldn't understand. Not because they're incapable, but because they're not there yet. Or maybe they're somewhere else entirely. And that's okay. Growth isn't linear. It's not a competition. But it does create distance. You start reading books they'd never pick up, having thoughts you can't share, making choices they judge, and slowly, the person they knew becomes someone else. You tried to bring them with you. You shared what you learned, what changed you, what woke you up, but they weren't ready, or didn't want it, or couldn't see what you saw. And you learned. You can't force growth, not in yourself, not in others. You can only move forward, and hope they move too. But sometimes they don't. Sometimes they stay exactly where they are, and you keep going, and the distance grows, not because anyone's wrong, not because anyone failed, but because you're becoming someone new, and they're committed to staying someone familiar, and there's no bridge long enough to cross that gap. You feel guilty for outgrowing them, for changing, for wanting more than what satisfied you before. You look at old friends and feel like the villain, the one who got too good for them, the one who thinks they're better. But you don't think you're better. You're just different now, and different feels like betrayal. You downplay your growth to make them comfortable. You pretend to care about things you've moved past. You laugh at jokes that don't land anymore. You perform the old you, because the new you makes them uncomfortable, makes them question themselves, makes them face their own stagnation. So you shrink. You hide what you've learned. You don't mention the therapy, the books, the changes, because growth makes people defensive, and you're tired of being the reminder that they haven't moved. But pretending is exhausting. You're mourning relationships that are still alive. People who are physically present but emotionally gone. And you can't talk about it. Because how do you say, "I've outgrown you," without sounding cruel? How do you explain, "I still love you but don't recognize us anymore"? You can't. So you drift quietly. You respond slower. visit less, make excuses, not because you stopped caring, because caring feels like lying, like pretending you're someone you're not anymore, and you're left in this impossible space, too loyal to leave completely, too changed to stay authentically. You watch them live lives you used to want and feel nothing. Not judgment, not superiority, just distance. And it's lonely, being the only one who sees how much you've changed, being the only one who feels the gap widening, being the only one who grieves the death of who you used to be together. Here's what outgrowing everyone costs you. It costs you belonging, the comfort of being known, of walking into a room and being understood without explanation. That's gone, because the people who knew you knew someone else, and the person you are now, nobody knows yet. You're starting over, not by choice, by necessity. It cost you history, inside jokes that don't land anymore, shared memories that feel distant, a past you lived together that now feels like it happened to someone else. Because it did. It happened to the version of you that no longer exists, and they're still talking to that person, while you're standing there as someone new. It cost you the illusion of forever. You thought these people would be there always. Childhood friends, first loves, family you chose, but forever was conditional. Conditional on you staying the same. And you didn't. So forever ended, not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. It costs you ease. Making new connections at this age is hard. Everyone already has their people, their history, their inside jokes, and you're starting from zero, explaining yourself to strangers, building trust that used to be automatic, learning someone new when you're exhausted from losing everyone old. And here's the cruelest part. Some of them resent you for growing, not consciously, not meanly, but your growth mirrors their stagnation. Your change highlights their sameness. And instead of being inspired, they're threatened. So they pull away, or worse, they try to pull you back. You've changed. They say it like an accusation, and you want to scream, "Yes, that's the point." But you don't, because they said it like it's bad, like changing is betrayal, like growth is abandonment. And maybe it is. Maybe outgrowing people is a form of leaving, even when you're standing right there. But what if outgrowing people isn't abandonment? What if it's honoring who you're becoming? You didn't outgrow them to hurt them. You outgrew them because staying small would have hurt you. And you're not responsible for their comfort at the cost of your growth. You're not the villain for changing. They're not the victim for staying the same. You're just on different paths now. And that's okay. Not everything is meant to last forever. Some people are meant for seasons. They were perfect for who you were, essential even. But you're not that person anymore. And trying to force old connections into new versions of yourself breaks both. It breaks the memory of what was, and it breaks the possibility of what's next. Maybe the most loving thing you can do is let them go, not with bitterness, not with judgment, but with gratitude for what was, and honesty about what's no longer true. You can love someone and outgrow them. You can be grateful for their role in your life and still move on. You can honor the past without living in it. And the people who are meant to grow with you will. They'll meet you at your new level. They'll be curious about who you're becoming. They'll celebrate your changes instead of resenting them. And those are your people, not the ones who loved the old you and demand you stay there, but the ones who love the unfolding, the ones who see growth as beautiful, not threatening, the ones who understand that changing together means changing separately sometimes, and coming back different, or not coming back at all, and being okay with both. Maybe you're not losing people. Maybe you're finding yourself. And in finding yourself, you'll find new people. People who resonate with who you are now. Not who you were, not who you're trying to be, but who you actually are right now, in this moment. Flawed, evolving, imperfect, growing, and that's enough. So if you've outgrown everyone you know, if you're lonely in rooms full of people, if you're mourning relationships that haven't ended but feel dead, you're not cruel, you're growing. And growth sometimes means growing apart, not because anyone failed, not because love wasn't real, but because people change at different speeds, in different directions, and sometimes those paths don't run parallel anymore. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to become someone the old you wouldn't recognize. That's not betrayal. That's life. And the people who can't celebrate that weren't meant for this version of you. They were meant for who you were. And that's okay. You can love them from a distance. You can honor what they taught you. You can be grateful they existed in your story without needing them in your present, because your present belongs to you, and the people in it need to resonate with who you are now. Not who you were, not who they want you to be, but who you actually are. Messy, evolving, uncertain, growing. You'll find your people again. Different people. People who match your frequency now, who understand your references, who get excited about what excites you, who see your growth as beautiful, not threatening, and with them, you'll build new history, new inside jokes, new forever. That might not last forever either. And that's okay too, because maybe the point isn't finding people who stay forever. Maybe it's finding people who fit right now, who walk beside you for this stretch, and when the paths diverge, you part with love. Not bitterness. You outgrew everyone you knew, but you didn't outgrow yourself. You found yourself, and in finding yourself, you'll find your people. Different people, better aligned people, people who love the unfolding, not the staying still. And maybe you'll be lonely for a while, in the space between old connections and new ones. But that loneliness, it's not empty. It's full of you. All of you, the real you, no longer compressed to fit spaces you've outgrown, and that's worth celebrating, even if you're celebrating alone, for now.